Gonna be doing a section on the AT here. Just got dropped off at the Dragon's Tooth trailhead. And there goes my shuttle driver. So I'm gonna be doing a 20-mile section here from the trailhead here back to Andy Lane trailhead, which is the same trailhead for Tinker Cliffs. And this is the Triple Crown of Virginia. This is the most photographed section, McAfee Knob, which I'll be heading to after Dragon's Tooth. That's what they say anyway. It's the most photographed site on the whole AT from Georgia to Maine. So I wanted to do a longer section on this trip, but I am doing smaller trips because I'm still dealing with that plantar fasciitis. Going on a year now since my March vacation of last year, where it started right after vacation. So I'm not trying to overdo it. I'm doing a lot of smaller trips. Cumberland Gap was the first one, and then I drove up here to do this because I've been wanting to do this section ever since my last section hike in Virginia 2 years ago. But it would have been 100+ miles, which would have also encompassed this particular section as well. But because of the foot injury, I'm just doing a 20-mile section here, which is actually the best part of the whole 100 miles I needed to finish from where I left off at Woods Hole Hiker Hostel near Parisburg. All right, so it's a little bit of a climb here from the Dragon's Tooth trailhead parking lot to get up to the AT, but it's switchbacks. It's not too bad. I wanted to point out the fact that this is a very popular stretch on the AT, which would also give you understanding why it's the most photographed section, at least McAfee Knob, among the three, Dragon's Tooth and Tinker Cliffs and McAfee's Knob. Very popular, but I think I picked a good time to come because it is still early in the season. I mean, people come here all year round because the weather is pretty mild, but it's a weekday and it's drizzling. It's supposed to stop around 9 and got on the trail a little after 8, so that's not an issue. I wouldn't want to come out here if it was a torrential downpour, because I'm not out here to punish myself. It's vacation after all. I made it to the gap. Lost Spectacles Gap, and I haven't lost them. So I'm gonna head south just a short distance. What did it say? It was 7/10 of a mile to Dragon's Tooth. And then I'll come back and head north to McAfee Knob and then Tinker Cliffs. I heard there's a scramble up ahead. Scramble up some rocks. So we'll check this out. All right, made it to the top of the summit. Another 1/10 of a mile to Dragon's Tooth. Haven't seen anybody yet. I'm already over 2 miles in. It is after 9 and it is still drizzling rain. I don't mind this kind of rain, but it's not a torrential downpour, but it's still going to prevent me from getting any views. So that's one of the things. You come out here and you want to have solitude, you got to come when it's inclement weather. And the mountain forecasts are never accurate. So rain might continue a little ways and I might not have views for the whole trip, but Tinker Cliffs will be tomorrow because that's the trail's end for me. But McAfee Knob, I think, is another 10 miles in or so. So we'll see. But at least I'll get to show you what it looks like, if not for views. All right, this is it. That's what I've seen in the pictures. That's it. Man, that's cool. I know people like to climb it. I'm not going to do that. But it sure would have good views. The weather would cooperate. It's just over 3,000 feet elevation. Not real high, but high enough. And see, this is what they try to prevent, people setting up camp up here at these points of interest. And of course, littering too. I guess it's the ATC and other volunteers come out here and maintain it. They do a pretty good job usually. Through hikers will be coming through. Not too much further from where I last saw them, a couple 100 miles. Check out what's down here. Actually, I lied. I did climb up. Wasn't that bad, really. It's just a little scramble. It's a nice little ledge here to take a break. So I think I'm gonna do that. And if you wanted to, you could come out here to some rock outcrops. And I'll show it to you, if not for a lack of a view. But that would be a pretty magnificent view if it wasn't for all the fog. Well, look at that. Clouds are dissipating enough to get a little view. That's a welcome sight. It's supposed to clear. I just saw the latest forecast, supposed to clear around 11 or 12. So it's about 10 o'clock now. And the sun is going to come out today. This section is a nice cliff walk, man. That's pretty cool. Some farms down there. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I like this. This kind of reminds me of some other sections back in North Carolina and Tennessee. An old mill down there on the creek. Nice little waterfall. It's a little chilly since after it rained. I think the high was supposed to be 61 today. It'll be a little cooler here on the ridge where I'm heading now. So I'll probably be about 1,000 feet above town. And that was the forecast for town, so probably be in the mid-50s up there. Well, this is the field I was looking at from above on the ridge. I've come down to it. Walking through the cow field, little farmland. It's a common sight in Virginia. Remember my last big section hike back in 2022. I hiked through several farms with cows. That was a good trip. I posted that as one video on my channel for the 7 days, 118 miles I did that trip back in September 2022. It was the last time I did the AT in Virginia. And like I said, I was going to do another 105 mile section on this trip. picking up where I left off on that trip from back in 2022, but my foot wouldn't make it. So far it's not feeling too bad though. I just didn't want to take a unnecessary risk and have to call for a shuttle driver to come back and get me. That would not be how I'd want to spend my vacation. So I'm just seeing the best section that would be on that trip, which is the Triple Crown here. And of course, Cumberland Gap was amazing. And I have something else in store for you after this trip. Potentially 2 more trips. I don't want to ruin the surprise. But check that out. That's pretty cool, man. These cows are usually very docile. They've even walked past bulls. Hey, cows. Got a calf up there too. All right. Stay on the trail. Beautiful scenery. It's warmer walking through the field too. I guess I'm going up there. Through this field, up the hill. I think I'm going back into the woods up there. More cliff walking. Check that out. It's a nice view. I'm liking this section. Pretty nice to walk up on a narrow ridge and come down and get these views, especially this time of year. In the summertime, I'm sure the views would be a little obscured from the leaves. And check out this view here. There's been a lot of views on this trip. That's what it says on the Far Out app. There's views everywhere. And that is a nice view. Beautiful. There was a couple over there at the actual McAfee Knob. So I found another cliff over here there's nobody here, so I didn't want to disrupt what they were doing. But it's just as beautiful over here. Check this out. Somebody could stealth camp in here, and it looks like they already have. though you're not supposed to. Little cave there. Make a nice shelter from a storm. Right off the AT here. Had to walk down the side path to get some water. It's good to know it's flowing pretty good because I am empty. But I'm camped at the pig tent site, whatever it's called, right near the actual shelter, Campbell Shelter. And there's a bear box there. I have a neighbor, so I didn't want to film and disturb him, but I'll probably film some when I get back. But anyway, I'm gonna get some water. I got my tent set up there. I'm gonna get the water, and that way I can drink and cook dinner. Having some more Mountain House biscuits and gravy because that was a good one. I'm set up right back there. Right off the AT. McAfee Knob is right up there. Got 8 miles to finish tomorrow. All right, it looks like there'd be a nice sunset over there, but it's not a clear view unless you go back up to McAfee Knob. And that's the bear box over there, so that's where I put my food bag. City lights over there. It's almost sunset. Or actually, I think the sun just set. Just waiting for it to get dark. I think it's gonna be a good night here. It's a little chilly. I probably shouldn't have worn shorts. Anyway, I'm gonna say good night now. All right, 7:15, getting back on trail. Beautiful sunrise. Sunrise is a little earlier here, but the sunset is a little earlier because further north. Not that much further north, but slept pretty good last night. Well, you know, except for trying to get comfortable. That's always an issue when you're getting used to camping consecutively, or close to consecutive. It wasn't as cold as it was in Kentucky on the Cumberland Gap trip, but it was still cold. It was 38 degrees this morning. Great view up here from the trail. That is Carvin's Cove Reservoir. And the trail's going up these rocks here. Reached Bricky's Gap. And the AT goes straight up, as always. It comes down to a gap or a forest road to go up. Oh man, look at this. I got a bunch of daffodils over here. We got views on the left. We got a bunch of daffodils on the right. Not as many as Daffodil Flats in Linville Gorge, but it's still pretty impressive. The view from Tinker Cliffs. Looks similar to McAfee Knob. Beautiful. Just like McAfee Knob, the climb was relentless, but not as bad. Better vantage point. All kinds of cool rock formations here in this section. Some big power plant down there. Maybe a paper mill. Can't talk. Still chilly out. All right, reached the intersection. Final leg of the trip. Down Andy Lane Trail, back to the car. I finally made it back to the car, and I gotta say I'm exhausted. That was about 24 miles with 5,000 feet elevation gain. And it was just like every time you thought a climb was over with, there was another one, even towards the very end on the Andy Lane Trail, right before the parking lot. So anyway, I'm gonna have to get some rest here because I don't think my body can handle another trip back to back. So I might have to space it out a little bit because of that. I'm just gonna go and get something to eat closer to town and make a decision.